Hello everyone, welcome to the Biology Funda. I am Prapti Nayak, your biology educator and founder of the Biology Funda. In today's video, we are going to learn about cell, the unit of life. This chapter will be divided in parts and you will see more video on this chapter. This is part 1 of the video. What is the difference between living and non-living? When we look living and non-living, what makes them different? The answer is cell. Cell is found in living organism, while in non-living they are acellular. So all organisms are composed of cells. That is the major difference between living and non-living. Cell, based on these cells, organisms are divided into unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular are those organisms which have only one cell, while multicellular are like those organisms which have more than one cell. So in unicellular, you will find that the one cell will do all the functions, while in multicellular, the cells are divided and they will perform different functions. So there is a division of labor. Unicellular, if I ask you the properties of unicellular, there are two properties. Unicellular are capable of independent existence. That means they can live alone. While the second property is they perform the essential functions of life. See, in this only one cell will do all the functions. That means the cell is independent. So they are all, the meaning is actually the same. So these are the two property according to the NCERT. Now, if any structure does not have this cell or the component of cells are absent, then we can't call them as living. Like what are the important component in cell? The first thing, if I tell you to draw a cell, this is how you will draw. The cell has a cell membrane. The next thing that you will see is cytoplasm. This matrix is the cytoplasm. Then you will say that the cell has a genetic material. So this is the third important component. Beside that, there are ribosomes. So these are the four common things that you will see in any cell. Cell membrane, cytoplasm, genetic material and ribosomes. So if I ask you, if one of these is absent, can it be called as cell? No. It can't be called as living because these materials are absent. Example, virus. Viruses, they are acellular. Comment below if you know which component is absent in virus. So based on it, we can say cell is the fundamental and structural and functional of all living organism. Now, let us learn further. Robert Hooke is the first one who discovered the cell. He saw a cork cell. He examined cork cell which was dead and they were looking like this, like a honeybee hive. But since it was a dead cell, I can't say he discovered a living cell. So Robert Hooke was the one who discovered the cell which was dead. Then comes Anthony von Leeuwenhoek, who discovered the first living cell. He was the one who discovered the first living cell. Then afterwards, Robert Brown discovered the nucleus. It was after the discovery of electron microscope, then scientists were able to study the structure, the detailed structure of the cell. Afterwards, we have to learn about the cell theory. There are three people who are very important in cell theory. First is the Matthias Sheldon. In 1838, he examined the plants. He was a German botanist. Since he was a botanist, he studied the plant. And when he studied plant, he found that all plants are composed of different kinds of cell. Now this cell then further form the tissue of the plant. So this was his conclusion. Then after 1 year, there was another scientist, Theodor Schwann. In 1838, he studied the animal cell. When Skeldon studied the plant cell, he gave this information. He studied the animal cell. Since he was a German zoologist, he studied the animal cell. When he studied the animal cell, he comes to know that this animal cell has a thin outer layer which is known as plasma membrane. First conclusion was like animals are even made up of cell, and when he studied the animal cell, he found there is a outer layer which is known as plasma membrane. Then he compared animal cell and plant cell. When he compared animal cell and plant cell, he found that cell wall is something that is found in the plant which is not present in animal cell. So cell wall is a unique characteristic of plant cell. Plant cell even has a cell membrane, but it has an additional layer called as cell wall which is not found in animals. So with this, they come with the hypothesis that bodies of animals and plants are composed of cell and product of cell. Product of cell. So this was the cell theory, but they were not aware how the cells arises from where the cells arises from. So after giving this hypothesis, after giving the cell theory, then comes the Rudolf Virchow. After like 16 years, he said omnis cellula e cellula, which means that cells divide and new cells are formed from the pre-existing cell. So if this is a cell, it will divide and form new cells. So cells come from pre-existing cell. So with this, cell theory was modified. So there are two postulates. All living organisms are composed of cell and products of cell. And the second postulate, which was given by Rudolf Virchow, was all cells arise from pre-existing cell. So we have three scientists who contributed in cell theory. First was Sheldon and Schwann. These are the first two. And last we have Virchow, who gave this statement. Now let us look at the overview of a cell. If I take an onion peel and a human chick cell, onion peel is a plant cell, human chick cell is an animal cell. We observe that plant cell has an outer layer which is known as the cell wall, right? And there is cell membrane after that, which is also present in animal cell. There is a nucleus which is present in both. There is also a vacuole which is present in both, but the difference in plant cell it is central and large vacuole. In animal cell it is small and it is mostly at the periphery. Here the nucleus is actually in the middle. Here the nucleus is present at the periphery. This is a cytoplasm which is a semi-fluid matrix. Ribosomes are present in both. There is another difference, that is in animal cell you will find centrosome. Centrosome which is absent in plant cell. This helps in the cell division. It plays a very important role in the cell division. While in plant cell you will find another organelle called as plastids, which we will learn further. Now we know that cell membrane is a delimiting structure of a cell, while cytoplasm is a semi-fluid matrix which is the main arena of the cellular activities. This occupies the main space the cytoplasm is more, the volume of the cell increases. So cytoplasm takes the volume of the cell. So let us move forward towards the cell which are divided based on the nuclear enclosure and compartmentalization. Based on this, organisms are either prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Prokaryotic are those which does not have a membrane bound nucleus, while eukaryotic are those which has a membrane bound nucleus. Prokaryotic lacks membrane bound organelles, while eukaryotic has membrane bound organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosome, mitochondria, microbodies and vacuole. Now you must be thinking that I told that cell has four important components. Without that they are acellular, like cell membrane, cytoplasm, genetic material and ribosome, which is a organelle. Then how come these prokaryotic are acellular when they lack membrane bound organelle? Because ribosome is a non-membrane bound organelle. This is the only organelle which is found in every cell. Prokaryotic, eukaryotic, plant cell, animal cell, all. They are found in cytoplasm, chloroplast, mitochondria and rough endoplasmic reticulum. This is the only organelle which we say that this organelle is within the organelle, because it is present in organelles like chloroplast and mitochondria, and it plays a very important role in protein synthesis, which we are going to learn further. These are the sizes of cell given in NCERT. Let's move towards this. Mycoplasmas are smaller cells which are only 0.3 micrometer in length. They are actually bacteria. You can call them smallest bacteria, smallest prokaryotic cell and smallest living cells. Bacteria on an average are 3 to 5 micrometer. Ostrich egg is said to be the largest cell, which is 6 inches long and 5 inches wide. Human red blood cells are 7 micrometer in diameter. Nerve cells are longest cells, which are 4 to 100 millimeter in diameter. Viruses are 0.02 to 0.2 micrometer. Next we have PPLO. P stands for pleura, the next P stands for pneumonia, S stands for like, O stands for organism. These are actually mycoplasma. Mycoplasma is the genus, and we have this species called as PPLO, which is the first discover mycoplasma, which is about 0.1 micrometer. And eukaryotic cell on an average is 10 to 20 micrometer. Let's move forward towards the shape of cell. They are disc-like, polygonal, columnar, cuboidal, thread-like, and they can be irregular too. Some of the shapes are given in the NCERT, like red blood cells are round and biconcave. They are biconcave because the nucleus is absent. Most of the organelles are absent to provide space to the hemoglobin. White blood cells are amoeboid. They are irregular, so they are said to be amoeboid. Columnar epithelial cells are long and narrow. Nerve cells are branched and long. Brachyds, which are plant cells or tissue, are elongated. Mesophyll cells, which are found on the surface of leaf, are round and oval. In the next video, we shall learn about the other parts of this chapter. Till then, subscribe our channel, like this video. See you soon.